Thank you, Dr. Nadeem. A warm welcome to everyone in training module COVID-19, Biomedical Waste Management and Infection Prevention Control. Myself, Dr. Kirti Nirmal, Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology, University College of Medical Science and GTV Hospital. I may be going to talk about biomedical waste management, hospital infection control practices, and how to prevent COVID-associated mucormycosis. So, why do we need biomedical waste management in hospital? Because if we will not treat it biomedical waste properly, we all are at a risk, like doctors, paramedical staff, nursing, our patients, patient attendants, etc. So biomedical waste is containing healthcare waste, which has 85% non-infectious waste and 15% are infectious or hazardous waste. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, Delhi, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Changes, Government of India, as per Biomedical Waste Management Rule 2016, Amendment 2018 and 19, it has four categories. Category 1 is yellow category, which is non-chlorinated plastic bags. It contains human anatomical waste, animal anatomical waste, soil waste, expired drugs, chemical waste, microbiological waste, chemical liquid waste. It is treated by incineration or plasma pyrolysis or deep burial. Category 2 is red category, which is non-chlorinated plastic bag or container. It contains all contaminated waste which is supposed to be recyclable. For example, tubing, bottles, IV catheter sets, urine bags, syringes and gloves. It has to be disposed by either autoclaving or microclaving or hydroclaving and then sent for recycling. Third category is white, translucent, puncture-proof, leak-proof, tamper-proof container, which contain sharp waste including metals. It has to be disposed by autoclaving or dry heat sterilization, followed by shredding or mutilation. Fourth category is blue, which is cardboard box with blue color marking. It contains all glasswares and it has to be disposed by autoclaving or microclaving and hydroclaving, then sent for recycling. Just remember certain points here. All bins should have been foot operated lids. Bin bag should be double layer as to ensure adequate strength and no leak. And collection bin for COVID be labeled as COVID-19. Now I'm going to show you short video.
हाँ जी। हाँ जी।
Okay, now coming to the segregation and safe storage of biomedical waste. Just remember that point of segregation should be done at the point of generation. In terms of it reduce treatment cost, reduce impact on community, and reduce infection in healthcare workers. And no untreated biomedical waste should be kept stored beyond a period of 48 hours. So what is the effective waste management? It should be waste minimization in terms of reduce, reuse, and recycle. Now coming to the second aspect of this training module, is it infection prevention and control practices. Just remember, it should be initiated at the point of entry of the hospital. It has containing certain components like standard precaution, which has hand hygiene, respiratory hygiene, personal protective equipment, spill management, safe infection practices, sharp management and injury prevention, safe handling, cleaning and disinfection of patient care equipment, monitor health of healthcare workers providing care to assess of N19 coronavirus in acute respiratory disease, biomedical waste management and environmental disinfection. What are the benefits of infection prevention control strategies? It protects yourself, it protects your patient, and it protects your family, community, and environment. So, what are the standard precautions? The important point is here the basic level of IPC precaution to be used for all patients at all time, regardless of suspected or confirmed status of the patient. We should always treat all blood and body fluid as infected. Use always thoroughly good hand hygiene. Cover any broken skin. Wear PPE. Use and dispose of sharp appropriately. Disinfect body fluid spillage correctly and disposed of biomedical waste carefully. Remember that hand hygiene is a single most effective intervention to reduce the cross transmission of nosocomial infection. As we know, safe hand is a caring hand. Hand hygiene already being discussed in previous session, so I am not going to again discuss. Now coming to the 5 moments for hand hygiene. We should strict and follow these 5 moments for hand hygiene. First is before touching a patient, then before clean and aseptic procedure, after body fluid exposure risk, after touching a patient, and after touching patient surroundings. Now, what are the respiratory etiquettes? All persons with signs and symptoms of respiratory infection must follow respiratory hygiene and cough etiquettes. Always provide surgical face mask for symptomatic patients. Provide tissue and no-touch receptacles. Perform hand hygiene after contact with respiratory secretion. In absence of tissue and handkerchief, patient to be instructed to cover their nose and mouth with arm with elbows flexed during coughing and sneezing. Do not spit here and there. Encourage coughing person to sit at least 1 meter away from other in common waiting areas. Now coming to the spill management. If any spill is happened accidentally, it should be covered with paper towel or absorbent material, whatever available around surroundings. Then pour hypochlorite 0.5 to 1% solution over the spill area. Leave for at least 20 minutes. Then clean with absorbent material and wipe the surface with disinfectant or soap and water. We should always keep in mind what are the prevention of needle stick injury. Like we have a certain do and don'ts. In do's, we have pass needle and syringe always in a tray. Remove cap near the site of use. Pick open needle with forceps. Destroy syringes with cutter or burning tips and use hypochlorite solution. We should never do pass needle directly. Never bend or break needle with hand. Never check test fineness with the finger. Never use open needle with the hand. Never break with the hammer or never recap used needle. So coming to the next part is cleaning and disinfection of medical equipment. These equipment which are being used in routinely OPDs and wards, so we should see how to clean them. In stethoscope, it should be cleaned by alcohol-based rub or spirit swab. PP cough and cover should be again used by alcohol-based rub and spirit swab or even washing. In thermometer can be cleaned by detergent and water or alcohol rub or cleaning with the water and soap. Injection and dressing trolleys should be cleaned by detergent and water or 70% alcohol minimum. Now coming to the infection prevention control strategies, what are the different type of IPC guidelines we should follow in patient's room, in OPD, in IPDs or in triage area? In inpatient facility, in patient room, if healthcare personnel will go there and to direct care of COVID-19 patient, that should be wear medical mask, gown, gloves, eye protection, goggle or face shield. If they are doing aerosol generating procedure perform on COVID-19 patient, the person should always wear N95 respirator mask or gown, gloves, eye protection and apron. Cleaner, if cleaner entering the room for COVID-19 patient, he should always follow medical mask, gown, heavy duty gloves, eye protection if any splashes from the organic material or chemical, and boots. Visitor entering the room of COVID-19 patient, ideally we should avoid the visitor to enter in COVID-19 patient, but if it is required, then they should at least wear medical mask, gown and gloves. In triage area, healthcare personnel should maintain spatial distance of at least 1 meter and should be used medical mask or N95 mask or surgical mask. Patient with respiratory symptom maintain again distance at least 1 meter and provide medical mask. In laboratory, lab technician should be, if they are manipulating the respiratory sample, they should have always wear medical mask or N95 mask, then gown, gloves, eye protection if it is required. In administrative area, all staff including healthcare workers, actually no PP is required in this area, only medical, surgical or N95 mask is mandatory. In OPD's patient consultation room, healthcare personnel should maintain medical mask, gown, gloves and eye protection. If they are dealing with respiratory symptoms, then they should wear N95 mask apart from full PPE. Cleaner after and between consultation with patient and respiratory symptoms should wear medical mask, gown, heavy duty gloves, eye protection and boots. In waiting area, patient with respiratory symptoms provide medical mask, immediately move the patient to isolation room and ensure spatial distance of at least 1 meter from other patient. In transport team, if suppose we need to transfer some patient to the ambulance, then healthcare personnel should wear at least medical mask or surgical mask, gown, gloves and eye protection should be taken if it is needed. And driver should maintain spatial distance of at least 1 meter and mask should be maintained. And patient with suspected COVID-19 disease, then full PPE is required. So coming to the environmental decontamination. Ideally, we should avoid 3C, which are space that are closed, crowded, or involve close contact. Avoid crowded or indoor setting, but if you can't, then take precaution. Open window, increase the amount of natural ventilation when indoors, or wear a mask. Regularly and thoroughly clean your hand with alcohol-based hand rub or wash with the soap and water. In hospital disinfectants, ideally, we are using minimum 70% ethyl alcohol for surface cleaning and freshly prepared sodium hypochlorite for surface and terminal cleaning. You can see here a short video. Now coming to the last aspect of this session, which is COVID-associated mucormycosis. Basically, what are the precautions we should take to avoid post-COVID mucormycosis cases? First, avoid using dirty or soiled masks. House or room should not be humid. Avoid nose picking. Don't use much steam inhalation with hot water. Monitor blood glucose level post COVID-19 discharge and also in diabetic patients especially. Use steroid judicially. Use clean or sterile water for humidifier during oxygen therapy. They must watch for respiratory symptoms like persistent or worsening of cough and breathlessness. Check for persistent rise of body temperature above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Just important thing here is do not take any prophylactic medicine without your doctor consultation. So what are the carry home message after this session? Biomedical waste has to be discarded according to at least CPC guidelines at the point of generation. Each bag or container to be labeled as COVID-19 waste. Perform hand hygiene regularly and thoroughly. Follow up SMS which containing social distancing, mask and sanitization. Avoid 3C that are space which is closed, crowded or involve close contacts. Prevent CAM which is COVID associated mucormycosis cases. At the end, I would like to thank to our faculty members, residents and technical staff of the Department of Microbiology and staff working in COVID-19 laboratory. Thank you so much for your patience listening.